Minister Trudeau has arrived in Brazil for the G20 summit and took to social media to release a video saying his government could have acted faster to rein in immigration programs after blaming bad actors for gaming the system.
Looking back, when the post-pandemic boom cooled and businesses no longer needed the additional labor help, as a federal team, we could have acted quicker and turned off the taps faster.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for the Liberals, Justin decides to release a video like this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you all had a great weekend. Before we get into the video, I just want to give a big congratulations to Clinton Jaws. I think he's, as of recording this, around 98, almost 99,000 subscribers. So he's almost at the 100K, which is fantastic to see. First we had Northern, now we have Clinton. I know David, Moose on the Loose, he's getting up there too. So it's great to see a lot of these Canadian content creators getting up to that 100,000 mark, getting their plaques. So again, congratulations, Clinton. But in regards to today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this train wreck that Trudeau released on his Twitter and his YouTube. We're probably not going to watch the full 6-7 minutes of it, but let's just jump into it now.
Immigration. Let's talk about it. In the last 2 years, our population has grown really fast, like baby boom fast. And increasingly, bad actors like fake colleges and big chain corporations have been exploiting our immigration system for their own interests. So we're doing something major. We're reducing the numbers of immigrants that will come to Canada for the next 3 years. Today, I'm going to let you in on what happened, where we made some mistakes, and why we're taking this big turn.
Oh boy, we're not even like 5 to 10 seconds into the video. He just admitted that there was a huge population boom in the past 2 years. Why? Because you allowed that with your poor immigration rules and your Century Initiative trying to get this population replacement happening, but also then goes on to blame bad actors and big businesses that are taking advantage of our foreign workers. How do you think they have the ability to take advantage of the foreign workers? You allowed so many to come into the country. These people need work, these people need housing, these people need to be able to afford to live here. When you brought them into the country, you allowed this big boom to happen. So why are you so surprised?
There are two kinds of immigration in Canada. The one you probably think of most is permanent immigration, like when families come to Canada to settle and call it home. Every year, the government determines the right number of permanent residents that we want to admit. That's how it's been done for decades. But a plan that only talks about permanent immigration misses the other pathway, temporary immigration. Temporary residents are people who come to Canada for a limited time, like international students, temporary workers, and so on. They come to work a job or go to school. When the job is done or when they finish their degree, most return home. Some apply to stay as permanent residents, but most return home. So back to this year's plan. Historically, Canada's annual immigration plan just looked at permanent residents. The number of temporary students and workers that we admitted each year was left to the demands of the economy. It was usually a small proportion of our population, so it's never been a part of the long-term immigration plan. But after the pandemic, our economy came roaring back quickly, and we needed a lot of workers fast.
Canada is in the middle of a huge labor shortage.
Temporary foreign workers became such a significant part of our workforce that it'd be a mistake not to include them when we plan our immigration levels. So this year, we did exactly that for the first time. We laid out a plan that sets targets for both permanent and temporary residents. This way, we're getting the full breakdown of people coming into our country so we can prepare the homes and infrastructure needed to support them.
The homes and infrastructure needed to support them, yet we can't even get that to support the Canadians that already live here. Our tent cities are out of control. Like, I feel like I'm a broken record here. Our poverty levels are through the roof. People are going to the food banks at record numbers. There's tents everywhere. People can't afford to buy a house. Like, why are we not focusing on that? Not this temporary foreign worker, permanent resident situation. Focus on what's going on right now. Get the people of Canada who currently live here better infrastructure, better housing, affordability, and then we can start to work on the other aspects. He keeps talking about how they're going to reduce it by 20%. At this point, you need to reduce it by 70 to 100%. You just need to stop it full force because we already have too many people in the country where we can't sustain it. And this guy is about to admit that the buck stops with him, with the federal government, but then goes on to again make more excuses.
Immigration is primarily a federal job. We have the levers to rein it in, so we are.
This is a big change, a major cut to immigration, reducing permanent immigration levels by at least 20%.
A new string of measures to clamp down on temporary immigrants.
That means a decrease in international students, temporary foreign workers.
Canada's new immigration plan is straightforward. Lower the number of new immigrants coming into Canada, both temporary and permanent. And those temporary residents who are already in Canada, some will apply to stay in Canada as permanent residents. Since they're already here, established and working, the added pressure put on communities is very low. Or they'll leave Canada when their temporary residency expires, reducing our population. Some temporary residents may turn to our asylum system when their visa expires as a shortcut to stay in Canada. Those claims will be analyzed and processed, and if their claim fails, they'll be sent home.
This guy is just out to lunch. He's just openly admitted that some of these temporary residents will use the asylum seeker system as a shortcut to stay in Canada, and that they're going to entertain looking into some of these claims to see if they're legitimate or not. For what reason? They're temporary residents for probably a reason of either temporary permit for working or for schooling. Once those two things are finished, then they leave. They're not temporarily coming to Canada to try out being an asylum seeker, seeing if Canada's a good fit. They're here for a specific reason, either work or school. One of those things have been completed, then they need to leave. It doesn't make sense that you're entertaining this now. And if you want to see how bad the economy has gotten and the situation that Trudeau has put us in, just look at this chart that he's about to show, and now you can understand why everyone is suffering the way they are.
Between the amount of people coming and going, we'll effectively pause population growth for the next 2 years. Then from 2027 onwards, it'll balance out and slowly start increasing again at a sustainable pace. In fact, that gets us back to the population growth path we were on before the pandemic.
Now I want you to take another look at this chart, because look at the discrepancy of where we were supposed to be and look at where he put us. This is why the economy has been the way it is. This is why people are suffering the way they are. And Pierre actually addressed this in an interview he did a few days ago, where he talks about the immigration problem that the federal government has put us in. How Trudeau has basically pushed tons and tons of work and business out of Canada and into the US, and our economy is showing for it.
Well, first of all, we should be exempt from all these tariffs. I can't believe that Trudeau signed a trade deal with Trump that leaves open the possibility of a 10% tariff. I never would have agreed to that. I can't believe he signed on to a trade deal that keeps the softwood lumber tariffs in place. Harper got those lifted in 90 days as Prime Minister. Trudeau's had 9 years and 3 presidents, and not only are the tariffs back in place, they've been doubled, killing forestry jobs right across British Columbia. So I'll be fighting for an end to the softwood tariffs, an exemption to Buy America like Harper has secured for us. But more importantly, I'll fight fire with fire. The Americans have taken a net $500 billion of our investment in the last 9 years. We were winning the investment war with the Americans before Trudeau, having more American dollars here than we had there. Why has the money left? Why is it pouring out of our country? Rampant tax increases by the Trudeau NDP Liberal government have pushed money out of our country to the point where American workers now earn $22,000 more than their Canadian counterparts. I want our money back. I will be axing the carbon tax, cutting income tax, cutting taxes on investment to bring home those hundreds of billions of dollars and to bring home production and paychecks for our people.
Do you think you can work with Donald Trump? He's a transactional leader if there ever was one. Do you think you can actually work with him? Because, we're his friend when he wants us to be a friend, and when we're not, we're not. And that's just the way he works. Do you think you can work with him?
We have no choice. It's that we live next door to the biggest economic and military superpower the world has ever seen. Trump wants what's best for American workers. I want what's best for Canadian workers. And, we're not going to be suckers anymore and hand our money. I mean, Trump would love nothing more than keep Trudeau in power, because he can walk all over him and he can take his money. When Trudeau quadruples the carbon tax to 61 cents a litre, Trump's going to be on the phone with all of our companies saying, hey, I heard about the big tax hike up there. Why don't you come down here? There's zero carbon tax. And you can leave the poverty and the hunger and the homeless encampments and the food bank lineups behind to start your business and deliver affordable goods south of the border. So that's what you're in store for with Justin Trudeau. Trump wants our jobs. Trudeau wants to help him take them.
And this is the problem with having such weak leadership, is nobody takes Justin Trudeau seriously. In the G7, the G20, any country that he works with or visits, I'm sure they all just think this guy's a fancy sock wearing loser, and he's the one who's caused a lot of issues for Canada. In all of the Americas, North, Central, and South, we're the only ones with the carbon tax. We have one of the smallest footprints in that, but we have that. So why wouldn't businesses, like Pierre was saying, go to the US or go to Mexico? It's cheaper. And this immigration problem, listen to Pierre break it down, because it's not a new phenomenon just because Trump is in power. This has been going on before Trump just got into office, saying that he's going to deport all of these illegals.
Let's not get distracted. The problems we have in immigration happened under Justin Trudeau before this election. I mean, President Trump has not even taken office yet. And the chaos in our immigration system has happened mostly in the last 3.5 years when President Biden was in power. So let's not turn our gaze away from the source of the problem, which is Justin Trudeau, who increased our population growth by 300% in a matter of a couple of years, who, by his own admission, this isn't me, allowed massive fraud in international students, temporary foreign workers, and the refugee system. By his own admission, the Liberal immigration policies have caused massive housing, job, and healthcare shortages. And now he's basically denouncing his entire immigration policy and expecting us to believe that he can fix the problems that he caused. This rampant incompetence has caused human misery, both for newcomers and for multi-generational Canadians like you and I. The bottom line is we have to fix our immigration, get back to the best system in the world, the one that brought my wife here as a refugee legally and lawfully, the one that brought so many people here to pursue the Canadian promise. And we definitely need more frontline border guards. We need to secure Roxham Road and other points of entry. We have to make it clear that it is not allowed for people to just walk across our borders. And we have to look at legislative changes if necessary to prevent people from abusing our system. It is possible to be a refugee to the United States. It's not possible to be a refugee from the United States. We vacation there. It's not a dictatorship. It's not a dangerous country that you need to flee from.
It's just so sad that I get joy hearing common sense being said by somebody. And Pierre is not lying about any of this, because Trudeau just came out with this video admitting that it was the federal government who screwed up the immigration. They should have pulled back way earlier, and that they have the power to adjust all this. Again, common sense in the Liberal government is not possible. It's just not there. They don't listen to anybody but Justin Trudeau, and that's why they're in the situation that they're in. But as always, this is just my opinion. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you thought about all this. Please hit the subscribe button if you can. It would really help out the channel grow. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks so much.